put it in the link. So, hello. All right. So this is week 2 of, I'm going to pin you for a second. Okay. This is week 2 of our Love Yourself Challenge. And how's everyone doing? Good? If you have any comments, who did the time on it? Sarah, did you do the time on it? Mary Kate? No.
There's
I
like
didn't.
no.
I did not, but mostly because I was like, wait, is there a worksheet somewhere for the time audit that I missed, or am I just supposed to sit and like think about? I wasn't sure what to do.
Oh no. Well, you can still do it. There is a worksheet, and I'll put it in the group again. There's a little worksheet to follow. You also don't even necessarily need a worksheet. You can just there's an app called Toggle that I really enjoy. Mary Kay, is that the one you use as well?
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
and it really is great. Actually, some advice for this, which I think was interesting, because my aunt actually mentioned it to me. But she said she does it for work, and then she thought it was really great to do it personally. And so even if you feel like you need to break it out, like you could even just do like if you only have so much time to like pay attention. But like this week she did personally because she's like, oh, I know for work. And then you could do it like 1 week you're doing personal, 1 week you're doing work, if it's like instead of kind of tackling the whole week at once.
Oh, that's a great idea. And honestly,
Yeah.
too, like you could even do like a short little bit. Like when I first did it, I just did a day, and even just doing it a day was so helpful because then I had a sense of, okay, it takes me this long to do this. And then sometimes I'll just pop it on, especially if I'm doing something new. I'll pop on like the little timer and see, okay, I'm doing this little activity. How long does it take me to do this? So it's really good. And someone actually put, I'm too scared to do the time audit, which I think is funny because I feel like, or people are like, I don't have time to do the time audit.
Yeah.
But it really, it's one of those things like you don't need to be scared of it. It's a great, you can just think of it more as a tool. It's a great way to just check in with yourself and become more aware. And I think that a lot of times just becoming aware of what you're doing and how you're feeling and where you're spending your time is a step in the right direction and a step in making sure you are taking the time for your priorities. And Sarah, you mentioned the worksheet. And one thing that we said before doing the time audit, it's really good idea to write down your priorities and what's important to you. Because then you can take a look at your list of priorities. And then after you go through the time audit, you can check, okay, did the things that I am doing throughout the day, all those things that I'm doing, did it match up with my priorities? And so now what we're going to do, whether or not you did the time audit, if you didn't do the time audit, that's okay. You can try it this week. You can try it for a little bit of time. Whatever you do, now we're taking to the next step. So the next step is all about checking that time audit sheet and checking your list, okay? Seeing what you're doing in your schedule and seeing if it makes sense to your priorities and if you're adding in that self-care. So what something that I found when I did the time audit is that I check my email just aggressively. I would check my email all the time, just like, no, check my email, check my email. And I realized, wow, I'm really wasting time checking my email. I don't need to check my email every 2 seconds. And so something that I realized that through my time on is like, okay, this is somewhere where I'm being inefficient with my time. And so what I did, instead of making a drastic change and say like, I'm checking my email once a day and that's it, I I slowly, gradually kind of progressed down and I started off with, okay, I'm going to check my email 3 times a day. And that was a step in me saying like, okay, this is something I can do. And now when I check my email, I go through and make sure to answer everything, make sure it's done and completed or filed away. And then I had 3 times throughout the day to check it. Now, since I've been doing this, I only check it once a day, which is amazing. Look at
She's so
Mary Kate.
proud.
Mary
Look
Kate's
how
like, that's insane.
I think it's fun. First of all, I love that you've gotten to that point. I also just want to like add to the people who are nervous about doing the time audit, like guilty, like also nervous. But it has been super helpful, and like it's a constant work in progress. So interesting enough, I feel like Trish has gotten it down to like once a day. I have not gotten it down that much, but it's so much better for me. So I think it just shows that even making that little extra effort, like, will continually make you more efficient, like it work a little bit more, you get a little bit more time back, you're a little more organized. So it's, don't be scared, but also I think it's, Trisha's proof that it does
Yeah.
work. I just can't get myself past like only checking my email once. I've gotten so much better. I now do it in the morning and at night. But I feel like that's, I
You're
don't
like,
know how
that's
ever.
so scary. And
Yeah.
I'll say it took me time to get there. I wasn't immediate. I wasn't like, okay, I'm only doing it once. It took me time. Like I started 3 and I said, okay, I'm going to do it twice a day. And now I do it once a day. And the key, and Sarah asked, is it my work email or personal email? And it's both. So I say schedule time in my day to check all the emails. I have too many email accounts. So I check them and I go through, and my goal of the day is to get it to 0. I would love to like that. My personal email is always by the end of me checking it is down to 0. So I either file it away into like a little folder in my email, or I answer the email, because I know so many times what I was doing is okay, I'm checking my email, I look at it, and I say, I'll get back to that later. And the next thing you know, it's just that email sitting there. And every time you check your email, you're looking at that same email over and over again, and you're like, I'll get to it, I'll get to it. So instead, I just sit down, I'm just going to get to it, and then push it away and move on. So it's been helpful for me.
Yeah. It's been honestly, it's been really great. And we are sharing this because we do it as well. And we actually want to give you some extra like actionable items to kind of make this even easier. So if you, whether you did the time audit or not, hopefully you did, but even if you haven't, there's still time. There's time to do the time audit. There's also one thing that we were even talking about before this, but like Trish and I were having a work meeting, and we're even going back and saying, how can we make things more efficient doing certain things? So it is a constant work in progress. Like you may even do it and then realize, hey, I think I should do it again, or do it like once a quarter, or even just like focus. Like I feel like I'm work wise, I'm more organized, but when it comes to personal, I'm not. So that may be more the focus. So some actionable items that you can include now, knowing, sort of what you're doing with your time and also what your priorities are. So one, it would be efficient with your time. So one thing that we've found is time blocking is incredibly helpful. So and what we mean by that is literally blocking off time in your schedule to accomplish the things that are a priority to you. So, as an example, we actually put into our calendar, we color code it based on whether it's like work has a couple different categories, but like we'll have like meetings versus when we're teaching versus when we're doing like tasks that we have to get done individually. And then family time, and then like sort of uninterrupted time, which is interesting and something I just want to speak to. Blocking off time that is either, time that you're spending with your family, or that you are, busy getting ready for work, getting the kids ready for work, getting out the door, is really, really important. Also blocking off time for self-care. And that is, it's not just the amount that you're going to take for the class or the amount that it takes to get up in the morning. It's like, I woke up, from the time you wake up, you showered, you got everyone ready, you took everyone to, let's say, to school. That's the full time block. So give yourself that full time, because then you're realistic in looking at it, and you will become more efficient, because one, you may buy back a little bit of time, but two, you're also not over scheduling yourself when you actually have to be doing one thing. So it really will help you be more efficient, and it'll also help you focus on something, which is actually the next tip. The next tip is to put your full attention to what you are working on. So if you are focusing on, let's say, you have a meeting, putting your full attention into that meeting is really, really important. So things that can help with that, turning your phone on do not disturb, putting like notifications aside, that will really help you focus in on what you're doing. One, if you're trying to accomplish something, it'll help you. But then also the other piece is, if you're trying to like shut down for the evening, or if in the morning you're trying to like get ready, it's not great to be like right on your phone getting distracted, or not allowing yourself to kind of come down from the day when you're still kind of catching up on the news or whatever else is going on. So it's really important to kind of push everything aside that is a distraction and fully focus on what you are doing. And what you'll find is you will be more successful at it and you will accomplish more if you're fully focused on that. Um, Now, again, we're gonna dive into a little bit more tips on how to incorporate these things in our roundtable on Thursday, which hopefully you're all joining. But the last tip would be, when you are time blocking and when you are putting your full attention into something, we want you to also make sure that you are not just doing it for work related things, family related things, you're doing it for you. So making sure that you're scheduling in self care, and those things include, exercising, taking care of yourself, getting good rest, maybe reading a book. Again, it's going back to those priorities. What is really important to you? And maybe, you have to get your hair done, or you want to get your nails done, something that makes you feel good, but making sure that you're putting it in just like you would put in any other appointment, any other thing that is really important and it is a priority, because again, it should have your full attention. You should make it happen. And when you do, you will feel so much better. So we will really um, help you through this process. And again, we always are talking about actionable items, how to incorporate this. These are 3 tips, but during our roundtable, we'll actually provide you with a template that you can follow so that you can make this more actionable and really kind of write it down and know what you're tackling for the week and for the month. It's super, super helpful. So Trisha's going to give you some homework, I guess, until the roundtable, but Trisha, you're
Yeah.
up.
I don't know if you can tell, but I'm really passionate about this. I took this time management boot camp by Megan Summerall, who's wonderful, and I feel like I've just been so interested in it, and it's helped me so much and with the time blocking and writing down your priorities and making sure you're devoting time. Because I don't know about you, but before all this, I just felt so overwhelmed, and I felt like I was going in a million different directions at all times of the day. And it's so helpful for me now. Like, I look at my calendar, I know exactly what I'm doing at this time, and it just takes a weight off of you, and you feel just so much more at ease and feel so much more productive and accomplished when you have things scheduled out and when you make time for things. Like, it seems so silly, and I'll show this to everyone at the roundtable on Thursday, but I was showing my family, my aunts, this weekend, my little calendar and my little to-do list, and they were all like just cracking up because it's so color coded and organized. And but it really has helped me. And now, like, there was something I wanted to do, reading every night with my family, and I'm reading books and the kids are reading books, and that was a priority for me, because I would always say, oh, I really should read more, or I should do this. And now that it's in my schedule, I'm it's like I'm forced to do it because it's that nice little reminder. So I know, okay, it's time for reading. And
I also think, Trisha, just to add to this, is what I think you have really realized, and we both have, is that, like, at the end of the day, managing your time is really how you're going to accomplish your goals. Like, if you properly manage your time and you're realistic, you will get what is a priority and what is important accomplished. And also just really looking at it all, and then the satisfaction of being like, I did this, I accomplished it, versus being so overscheduled or having so much on your plate and you're like, you can't keep up. But if you take a step back, do the time audit, plan, you will accomplish what you want. And that's what it sounds simple, but it really can be simpler, and we want to help you with that. And we are giving you this advice because we're taking it ourselves, and we really have implemented this, and we continue to improve upon it.
yeah, and it honestly goes back to our first roundtable talk. We talked about growth mindset versus fixed mindset, and I think a lot of us, there's this culture of, we're just busy and we have so many things going on. We're all overwhelmed, and it doesn't need to be that way. We can all work towards improving or managing our time, being a little bit more efficient, and being less just stressed and overwhelmed. Like that can definitely be a goal. So for the homework this week, hold on, I wrote it down somewhere. Oh, so it's to take time. First of all, it's to take time and decide where you want your calendar. Okay, are you doing a calendar on Google, like a Google Calendar where it's on your computer, or are you doing it paper? And you want it to be a calendar where you can see all your things. Okay. So if you're someone who needs to write down, go paper. If you're someone who, like, you won't have your paper around you, like someone like me, like I used to have a paper calendar, but I would be somewhere and I didn't have access to it, so I wouldn't be able, I would just be scheduling things into my calendar. So now I use Google Calendar. So that's somewhere that I use. Mary Kay, do you use Google, right?
I do. So I use Google and it's super helpful. I can pull it right up my phone. And that's the best part. Like I am a overly scheduled person too. Oh, so funny enough, I've bought myself some time and I'm trying to fit more things into I'm like, no, that's the whole point. You're not supposed to do that. But I do have to say it's super helpful because I found like I'm not like rewriting things. Like I like the idea of like crossing things out, but now I even like I cross them out. Like you Google, you can like cross through things.
Yeah.
And even if I want like just if it's like, oh, you want to get these 5 things done, it's in my calendar as let's say like bills or payroll or something like that. But then I might have my to-do list on the side. So I Google Calendars has been a savior and just nice to like look up and be like, where do I need to be? And it's right there. And also like fish through papers. So I do recommend it.
Yeah. So whether you're using Google Calendar or you have a little pretty planner, I know Katie, one of our front desk and instructors, she has this beautiful planner that she uses. So whatever you want to do, decide on that. And then going this week, take a look at your priorities. Take a look at things that you need to do. First things first, schedule in the time that, like the things that you need to, obviously, like any appointments and things like that. Make sure that's in there. And then schedule in that self care time. Make sure that's in first. Okay. You want to exercise, put that in there. All right. You want to read, put that in there. You want to go to bed at 8 o'clock or wherever. 8 o'clock's pretty early, but you can go to bed at 8 o'clock. If you want to go to bed at 8 o'clock, go for it.
Sounds so nice. I want to go to bed at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, like, if you want to go to bed at noon, you can. So schedule that in there, make it as pretty or whatever you want to do, put that in there, and then see how much time you left out after that. All right, so that's your little task of the day, and I do have a nice little printout, and I'll put it in the group on priorities and how to decide like what's priorities and what's not priorities. So take a look at that, and if you haven't already, Sarah, I think you put I don't know, you may not have, but it's underneath there's a little checkpoint. So write down how many points you get. So you get 5 week, you got 5 points for the time audit, and then you get 5 points for every time you check something off of the Love Yourself Challenge bingo. So this week it will be 5 points for the schedule, 5 points for the Love Yourself Challenge bingo.
Awesome.
Okay.
Is there any specific, because you're on, and I know if anyone on Facebook has any questions,
Yeah.
sometimes it's hard to hear, but anything specific that comes to mind or
look.
that we could help with?
I don't think so. I did want to share one little tidbit for those of you who have converted to a fully electronic calendar, because we live and die by our Google Calendar, right? And if my husband has something, he puts it on the calendar. I have to remind him, but he'll do it. There's this picture frame company called Skylight where you can send photos to like grandparents and stuff. They've created a calendar that it's literally a device that sits on your countertop, like in your kitchen, and it will display your Google Calendar, your Outlook calendar, whatever. So if you're somebody who like your family would do well with a master calendar, but you don't want to write it on paper or dry erase board. So I can send the link for that because I don't own one. I wish I did. But it's a beautiful thing if you are, needing something to bridge the gap. Even if you want to check your calendar, but you don't want to necessarily grab your phone and get sucked into your phone, you could just look on your counter or your desk.
That is really awesome. Can you, underneath this, can you just like tag us in that? Because
yes.
Church and I will be showing you pictures like by the end of the week. That's going to be on our both of our calendars.
I was like, oh, I love that. I love that so much.
That's awesome.
But my whole family's feel like we don't want to see your Like I'm showing my calendar to everyone, so proud of it. And my husband's like, please stop showing me your calendar. I don't care.
But it is I think it's really important to find things that help you like live a better life. Like this is, you Trisha, I feel like you feel so organized, you feel better. And there's something to that. Like when we take care of ourselves, we feel better. So it's incorporating that time in. When we accomplish things, we feel better. So it's making sure that happens. And also if like finding the best way for you, like again, we're a mix. So you may want the electronic calendar, you may want it written down, you may want a physical, like Sarah was saying, like to see something so the whole family can see what's going on, but you don't feel like writing it in. That's a great alternative. So finding what works to make this work is really what's most important. So, and I think also sharing, like I love that Sarah just shared that with us, because truthfully, I will be purchasing that. And but also we can all learn from each other. Like truthfully, I feel so lucky. Like Trisha's really embraced this, and I have also, but I feel like she's, like I'm learning even more from her, because she's like, oh, I tried this, or oh, I did this. And I'm like, oh, let me try that as well. Like I'm admitting I bought myself time by time blocking. And then I'm like, ooh, because I can like fit this in too. And I'm like, no, that's the whole point. You're not supposed to like, yeah, you gotta chill with the over scheduling, Mary Kate. But it's a work in progress. So I feel like it's really great to be able to share and
Yeah.
all learn from each other and continually improve and be the best version of ourselves. I don't know if I'm delayed. Can you guys hear me?
Yes, for sure. I feel like that's the whole point, you know. Yeah, you're good, Mary Kay. But I feel like that's the whole point. Like we're especially in this Facebook group, it's called the accountability group because we can hold each other accountable and it's really helpful. And that I mean that's a big part of why we started Remix because we wanted to create a place where it was a community of people where you didn't go and feel like I'm alone in this. So and we love our community and we love everyone who whether you're virtual, you're in Horsham, you're in Plymouth Meeting now. We love that everyone comes together and motivates each other and supports each other. So keep doing that. Keep messaging in the Facebook group. Keep sharing and feel free to bring any other friends along who you feel like this may be a good fit for too as well.
Yes, we could all take care of ourselves.
Yes.
Like Sarah's just laughing at me. She's like, yeah.
Well,
I'm always a work in progress.
I made lunch to eat while I was doing this, and then I was simultaneously pouring paint for a kid to do painting, and I'm like, well, my sandwich is still sitting on the counter, but I'll get there. So
Yes.
it
Yes.
just it's
No,
hard
you
to
made it here. You did it. You made it here.
You did three things at one time. That's amazing.
Well, thanks, ladies.
Thank you for joining us, and thank you everybody, and keep us posted on how the challenge is going and if we can help in any way. And we're looking forward to seeing everybody join on Thursday for the roundtable. Just really excited about continuing this conversation and helping you all get back some time and take care of you. So
100%.
have an awesome Monday, and keep an eye out. We will be pulling all of the winners from all the raffles. So yes, keep an eye out for hopefully all your names get called. They're great prizes. And I think we're doing that tomorrow. So
Tomorrow we're gonna go live on Instagram. So we'll share all the winners everywhere. So if you're not on Instagram, no worries.
Perfect. Awesome.
All right, Mary Kay,
Have a
you
great
ready?
Monday, everybody.
Bye everyone. Oh, good. I thought you went away. Oh wait, hold on.
Say that again.
Hold on.